Switch. I'm gonna step out, heavy hitter, Conan. Sounds good, Chris. Sounds good, baby. Well, always welcome to join us, my guy. Got ourselves Cypress over for the team 1. Conan joined in, trying to see if he can get himself an angle here. Zeus finally getting a chance to play here. Some Affy, dude. You gotta love the Affy gameplay, man. The dots together with the Conan. It was not gonna let this man swap out to another pet. You may just have to go for a quick summon. Got him some full dots, everything available. Reflect up to follow. Zeus, as long as you can just keep dots on the Conan and get a couple of those shadow bolts, those are massive because the pet always is going to be able to add in extra damage. Got yourself full burst with the Dark Glare. It's going to be Soul Run potentially. Trying to land it here. Does get juked out. It's going to be an opportunity for DBZ to potentially do some damage. Conan get a lot of damage onto the lock. Does go for the Warlock Helter, but it looks of it with an Oblivion, channeling it down the barrel of full-on Shadow. Just torrent. Conan does barely, narrowly survive it. Quick reflect, and as long as DBZ does not reflect like a Mortal Cold back at himself, he might be okay. Trying to keep the dots on the Conan full walk, cannot get interrupted unless you got more CC. Big Hunt trying to go for instant cast. Is it going to be enough though? Big Malefic, hold on a second. Both are so low. Mortal Coil, it does get rotted to the dots, man. If only he just let him get the succubus, it might have been a little bit easier for Zeus. I think he does end up reflecting like a corruption back at himself, doesn't he? That is rough, man. And Vendetta not going to give this guy a chance at all, is he? Nope. Nope. Has to go quick summon succubus. Maybe it'll catch him. Does catch him. Does Lich board out of it. Hold on. Do you have a gate? Oh, it's over. That is so rough. That is so rough. Yeah. Yeah. Just kind of got left with nothing after Conan. Wait a second. What is this tabard? What is this thing? Hold on a second. That looks kind of neat. What tabard is that, chat? Is that like an old one? Like a... I feel like I know that somewhere. I don't know exactly from where. Chicago dropping down the totem. Stunned by Vendetta. Got himself grippy hand. Full stuns onto Chicago. Back-to-back does pre-wall it. Chicago moving the totems back towards Van. There's going to be another stun yet again. Van just rotating every defense. Chicago moving the totem. Yet again, just need to build up the pressure of the totem and keep Van next to it. But eventually, he is just going to be able to get plenty of pressure, plenty of damage as the Totemic Shaman with the proc stows back in. Last time he fought Chicago, Chicago was on the Toes was on the back foot. Chicago had the full advantage, but now how the turntables. Shoes on the other, what is it, hoof with Chicago? Yeah, I assume. It's not even shoe, it's like a band around top of the hoof, isn't it? Lasso for lasso, I love that, dude. One response to the other. Toes is rooted anyway, so it's not like he can really move anywhere. Got him some big Stonekeeper potentially. Maybe enough pressure. Maybe enough damage. Leaping in. Chicago is rooted. Does get him so Primordial with a big Ascendance to follow. Chicago could be under a lot of trouble as long as he has line of sight of Chicago dropping down the Bulwark Totem. And as long as you can maybe position the totem of yours, the big Surgeon Totem, onto Toes, you might be alright. Building up a lot of Maelstrom with those Ghost Souls, if anything, though. So for Toes, cannot really catch up. Both Shamans are going to have Varut, so they can just always disengage from one another fairly easily. Blasting at a set of one another, trying to go for a knock, doesn't quite connect. Sunder, either a proc Sunder or like a real Sunder, trying to see if he can go for some damage. Wall out for Toes as he goes in for a trinket. Does have a lasso of his own in case he wants to lasso at Chicago. Does not have a trinket themselves though, but he do have a bunch of Ancestrals, so if you got yourself any big damage, go into a grounding totem. However, that was a lot of potential damage, but all those blasts just missing Chicago. And Toes may need some mana in order to catch up a little bit of healing. I don't even know what his mana situation is. Problem is on my UI here, I can only see his Maelstrom. I can't really see mana. I can see Chicago's mana, but their Maelstrom weapon stacks are personal proc rather than like an actual bar. As Toes does not have a lot of health to work with. Big Elder Blast on for Chicago. Just needs a couple more hits. Big Earth Shocks onto that grounding totem though. And Toes does go down and Chicago finally closes that gap. Get himself a big lash. Lava Lash, I think it was. Something melee. Some kind of a melee by the looks of it. Based on animations alone. Stun onto Chicago. Does go for the trinket. Lasso onto Studded. As he doesn't have a way to break out of it. Switch it over from Fury to Arms this time around actually. Chicago looking to get himself a little bit of that healing surges behind the pillar. Studded, got himself a decent setup potentially. He technically still has all the cooldowns. Trying to see if he can Blaze Storm, potentially maybe ramp up for some damage. Chicago do quite a bit of damage. Back to Studded, maybe looking to potentially using a defensive here. As long as he can't fall too low as an arms warrior. The faster you use defenses, probably the better. Does get rooted for a second. And Chicago tried to see if he could back up behind the pillar, still continued to drop totems onto Studded, making it harder for him to reach him. Studded maybe looking to potentially get himself, yeah, the parry, but Chicago is just backing up out of it. That is the part where you don't want to be as an arms warrior. When you got full parry, you want to be getting hit into that parry. You want to have that parry and the wall be getting some value out of it, but all it does is reduces damage. But Chicago's behind the pillar just waiting out the defensive big zap for the frost shock taking you out. Cypress is the last one left over for the team one, trying to get Chicago a proper honor duel by the looks of it. I noticed a lot of people are running like that face mask specifically, that spiky one, this jaw thing. Like a lot of you guys been running that more regularly. That's crazy. What team? Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of these, a lot of actual powerful juggernauts in one team. What we could do is we could maybe switch them around, Conan, if you wanted to. Potentially. Chicago going down for a burrow. Cypress with every defensive. Wild Wings are active. Got himself big hammers flying in. And Chicago just trying to see if he can avoid those hammers. Hand of freedom. Is it up? I think he used it earlier. But does have a route to at least separate. Catching up a bunch of healing. That totem buffing up that healing a little bit as well. As he got himself some Ellie Blast. Definitely needs to get a totem. Put it on top of Cypress, build up the totem in terms of the Maelstrom to buff it back up, because the more Maelstrom you consume, the stronger that totem gets. Does get himself a full immunity to magic damage. Chicago does have access to some physical damage, however. Can't really lightning bolt the guy or level ash him, but the Storm Strike should be able to do it together with Wind Fury procs. Does get himself a Bulwark totem just to give himself some defense. Cypress may be looking at potentially using more immunities here. Might be a bubble situation. Might be a lay on hands potentially. Chicago just tried to survive this as best as they can, knowing that Cypress does have plenty of ways to be able to fight it through. Does go for the bubble. That's going to be Chicago breaking past it. Cypress, do you have a lay on hands? Oh, had the hammer, but Chicago built up plenty of damage just to turn it around on the guy. Just buffed himself. I don't even know what kind of setup you had going on there. Look at that healing. Do more healing than damage there. But does pick up more. Well done, well done. Oh man. What was that at the end there? It looked like Pally bubbled, and Pally's got himself a proper setup with a hammer, but it feels like as the hammer dropped, it wasn't Chicago cell that went down, but instead it was the Pally's damage. Just got a vaporized. It's something people don't run, but you want the sauce? I personally, I'd like to know what the sauce is, but I'm not gonna put it out in public. I do want to know the sauce. Okay, yeah, you know what? Let's just try to see if we can get another going. I'm not gonna put the secret sauce on stream or in video. I'm just gonna keep it to myself.